All right, good morning, Patriots. So apparently we're having some issues with the intro that I'm trying to do. So I may have to reload it. So we'll see. So we've been watching the last few days that there's been some rallies and protests down in D.C. Okay, now the one had Kirk Cameron and Marjorie Taylor Greene were interviewed, and it was a anti-abortion rally. So it was not a pro-abortion rally. It was completely, I'm sure there was others there marching for the right to murder an unborn child, to abort it. No, it's hard for me to even say because it's disgusting and it's only one thing. But that's as a Christian, I guess we view things differently. We understand that life is precious. So why do we get rid of a life? And I've said it in other streams, there's only a couple circumstances that I could even admit that it could be justified if the woman so chose to do so. And that is a pregnancy that came about from rape. I would support a woman's choice to abort at that point because the woman did not consent to this. It was not consensual sex. So she should not have to live with the reminder. And there are women, so let me stress this, there are women that have kept a baby from rape. Some women love that child. It's not the child's fault, and they realize that. Some women just use it. It's a constant reminder to them. It's a constant reminder to them of what happened to them. And they have this discontent, and they're not connected with the child. They really just loathe the child. So their feelings roll over to how they interact and care for the child. They may give them just the bare bones of what they have to give them. So does not make for a good life for a child growing up. And it's to the point that I've actually talked to people that have been a child of rape back years ago. I was in the Marine Corps with a fellow that's exactly what it was. He was a product of rape. And he literally said his mother was horrible to him and looked at him and said, I didn't even want you. I was forced to have you. And nobody would take him. What the scenario was in their area, I don't know. But either way, this stuff does happen. So that is one case where I would fully support a woman, whether I like it or not, to choose to end the pregnancy. I know a lot of people would say, and I have this in my thought too, is, well, why don't you just put it up for adoption? Find a family that will take the child and adopt the child. And that is a great concept and a great thought if you can do it. Some women just do not want to live with that, because even though they may have done that, they realize that still that they went through the trauma of birth, of giving birth. It's for a woman. I'm sorry, man. For a woman, it's childbirth is very traumatic to their body, and it's going to be a reminder. Sometimes it sticks with them for the rest of their lives. So, if it's, like I said, if it's not consensual, it's rape, I have to get on board with it. But other than that, no. Another instance that I would is a child of incest, which is still in the lines of rape, if it's not consensual, obviously. So the lines are very narrow. But other than that, no, absolutely not. So they were marching, and they were, had been interviewed, and they were asked some questions, and they stated their case, and some of them were, you have a very personal story sometimes. So Kirk Cameron definitely had a story to tell of his own. So, which was funny, because Kirk Cameron is a very staunch Christian, and back in the day when he was a child actor, when his coming up in his teens, and for those that are old enough, remember the show that he was on. He was an atheist. He didn't believe in God, and he'd come around, and now he's a very, 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 very devout Christian. So we see some wins and losses going on that front when it comes to abortion, and all we can do is hope and pray that we realize, and everybody realizes, that abortion is not a good thing, not a way to go, and that it is murder. I'm sorry. Let's be smart. The tools are out there for us to try to prevent this from happening. It's called birth control. So now you got a protest going. You had protests going on. Yesterday, and it was about the vaccine mandates. It's to get rid of the vaccine mandates. Doctors and scientists coming out in droves saying how bad this is and how dangerous this is, to force children, healthy children at that, to take a jab that could cause damage to them. This is part of we're going to have control of you at any cost. We're going to make you do things that you don't want to do at any cost. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, and thousands and thousands of people rolled out in D.C. there yesterday and said, no, this is it, we're done. You need to stop the mandates. The Supreme Court's already ruling on mandates, so that's good. Again, mandates are, and this is where there's a disconnect between the federal government and the White House, the state houses, state government, local government. This is where there's a disconnect. Is mandates, don't care what way you wash it, what you say about it. Mandates are not law. They're not law. They're not enforceable. We can say, well, if you don't follow this mandate, we're going to fine you XYZ. It can be fought in court and won. So you can fine somebody or a company thousands of dollars for not following your health mandate. They don't have to pay it. They're not going to pay it if they're smart. They're going to fight it in court, and they're going to win because it's not a law. It's not a law. It's a glorified request. It's like saying you have to wear a mask and you're out not wearing your mask walking down the street, and a cop comes up. What is he going to cite you with? What is he going to cite you with? He's got to come up with a bogus charge to cite you. He can't cite you with and fine you for not wearing a mask directly. So they got to come up with something. If they wanted to enforce it and fine people, they got to pick something out of the other bag, because it's not a law. There's no law. There's no law code to cite you with. Again, that's one that can be fought in court and won. So, mandates are glorified requests. And that's all they are. They are not laws. They have to go through a process. And it's a lengthy process. It doesn't take five minutes in the stroke of a pen. Okay? It does not take Dr. Anthony Fauci and Mr. I Am Science to say this is what we need to do. This is not something with a half-page letter to OSHA saying we need to do this and them implementing it. No, that's not law. So it's great that people are coming out and they're speaking out about this and saying enough is enough. We're done with this. Everybody should be glad. They're saying we need equality and no discrimination against the anti-vaxxers. And that's what's happening. You're getting discrimination against those that don't want to vaccinate. So, it's coming down the pike. I mean, it's coming. Seriously, you got a lot of countries in Europe, England and France are good examples that are done with the mandates. Come on, give it up. So now let's roll into bogus claims on our page here. So I put a intro together. And mind you, not anybody that knows anything about, especially iMovie, which is Apple, the content is there and given free right to their users, to Apple customers. Because obviously, if you have an iPhone, you have a iPad, you have a MacBook, whatever, an Apple product is the only way you can use this, right? So obviously, you're their customer if you have this and you can use it. So their content is free to use. They have trailer makers and movie makers in their iMovie. So all the content that you use to put their stuff together is free. It's free for you to use. There is no copyright infringement. Unless you pull in a clip of content and add to it from outside. So they have my big intro that I have that starts out with like the cosmic scene. They have that first 30 seconds, which is all that from iMovie that I used. Plus the background music. It was all part of iTunes, iMovie. So I have the legal right to use it. Somebody tried to apparently hijack it, saying that the content, that 30 seconds of content that was provided to me by iMovie, and the music that was provided to me by iMovie was theirs, and it's copyrighted. Well, no, you're wrong. You're bogus. You bumpkiss. You stoopkiss. So what it is now it's disappeared. Now that I've tried to argue it, it's disappeared, right? I can't even, they're not even letting me go in and see what it is, see what clip it is, see what movie, video it was. And I went in and looked at some of the others, my other content, and it was saying the same thing on another thing, both through Facebook or Meta, whatever you want to call it. So after I really go in and start picking around, and I'm starting to complain about this stuff, lo and behold, some of the captions disappear off the ones that I have stored, and I can no longer see which one they're talking about anyway, because it wouldn't let me into it. What they're doing is they try to do it when they don't like what you're doing, and they'll tag you. They'll hit you for copyright infringement or whatnot, whatever they can. So it gives them the justification to lower the algorithms. Because when you get cited for something, it lowers the algorithms. So what it does is it makes it harder, and it makes your page less viewable. So they will do everything they can to try to stop freedom of information. If it's not their design, what they want to hear, what they want put out, they will try to slow the information. So you see us kind of bouncing around and trying to put together different stuff. Now I'm just playing with them. I'll put together 100 different videos for all I care. One way or another, I'm gonna win. So, all right, that's all I got for right now. Let's pray. As a Christian, I want to say, let's pray for those in California that are going through. They got a big wildfire out in California. So let's pray for them, the people, the residents of that area, the firefighters that are fighting that, and hope they get it contained and under control here pretty soon. Kamala Harris was out there with the governor, trying putting on a show, blah, 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 whatever. We know how that is. And she still has not gone to the border. She's only about 100 miles from the border, or was only about 100 miles from the border and didn't even go. So I got no respect for her. So if you're on Facebook, hit that like, follow if you're not already. Smash crap out of that share. We're on Instagram, same thing. YouTube, hit that, hit all everything you need there. I'm working on a subscribe button to link it to it, so it comes up on the pages. So let's get us out there. Let's share our content, and let's make sure our algorithms go up. So the better our algorithm we show on the algorithms, the more the content is shown. So help us out. Let's get us out there and If you got any suggestions, go ahead and let me know. You can comment. I try to make sure the comments are always turned on. So let me know if you got any thoughts, suggestions, content you'd like to look into. And as always, stay frosty, my friends.